Hey, Composing Gloves here, and today we're going to be doing some figure-based exercises. So there are two types of exercises. This worksheet available in the description, theory workbook for free. So look for the theory workbook down below. There's two exercises. So there's one where I give you a note and a harmonic analysis, and you must construct a possible chord. There could be several chords available. And then over here, we have you just have to analyze things. So over here, you just do some analysis. So let's go ahead, let's do one of those first. And some of these are tricky, but we have talked about all the Roman numeral and figure-based analysis necessary to complete this. This is only triads. This should be plenty of triad exercise work. Do them all. Get fast. You'll be doing a lot more as we do exercises and things, but get really good with triads because it will come in handy when we jump to sevenths in the next exercise. So let's go ahead, take a look at the first one. Okay, so what you're gonna do now, you could do the chord symbol. Let me mute my stuff. Okay, so you could do the chord symbols if you want. If you'll notice, I believe this is the exact same worksheet as the triad exercise, triad inversions. But now we're going to be replacing them with figure base. I may have changed a couple things. I can't remember if I did or didn't. It's been a little bit. But anyways, we hit Control K, right? And we know, okay, well, we look at this and we say, well, this is E, G, C. And if we move that C down an octave, we see that is a C major chord. So we put C major, or just C, because it's a triad. And then we say, okay, well, let's do the figure base. So we hit, I need to note something. If we look up here, let's read the instructions. It's always good to read the instructions first. This is the triad inversion worksheet, but we are going to label the inversions with figure base, ! Because we're very excited. Consider everything to be in the key of C major, which is the thing I wanted to point out. Because if you don't know what key you're in, there's no way to write the Roman numerals unless you just pick a key. So remember, I misspelled remember. Remember. Pretty sure that's how you spell remember. I'm not that great at spelling, as you can tell. That no figure base indicates root position. So if it's a root position, you don't need to write any figure base. How great is that? But you still should write a Roman numeral, right? So, okay. And then, of course, use short annotation. In cases where only a bass note in the figure base is given, construct a possible chord. So, okay, here's C major. We figured that out. And now we say, what is C major in the context of the key of C major? Well, that's the 1 chord. So we hit Control L and we put a capital 1 or, Control I. And then now writing the figure base in, you're going to have to move a lot of pieces around. Other things have an actual font for this. I may even make a video showing how you can steal another program's font and use it in MuseScore, because I started doing that and it works wonderfully. I'm not sure if they'll actually work with the theory workbook though. So if I get responses like, hey, this isn't working, I'll update it with PDFs, or maybe I'll just change everything over. But anyways, we have to do this weird combination thing. So we type it with the lyric tool, Control L for the Roman numeral, and we hit Control G for the figure base, and we say what inversion is this? And for now, this one's pretty easy because it's closed voiced. When we get to open voicing ones, you have to identify things. So we say, okay, well, the third's in the bass, so that means that it's first inversion, because E is the third and that's in the bass. So if it's first inversion, what is the figure base for that? And this is where the memorizing thing is really important, because if things are open voiced, you can't do the counting. Here, you could count. You could say, okay, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we say, oh, it's the 6, and the third is assumed. So we can just put the 6. Usually the 6 is a little smaller and off, but MuseScore currently doesn't have a way to do this. So we sort of cheat, and I'll move things around like that. So there you go. There you have it. Whoa, bam, we're done. And the 6. Now, the counting thing I was just talking about, right? Let's go down here to these open voice ones. Counting won't work. You can move the notes around, but what if this was a test with, you can't move the notes around? There it is. Suppose you could rewrite the chord next to it to look at it better, but you really want to just get in the habit of, once you figured out the chord, you just know the positions and the numbers. So this is something you should really memorize. So anyways, that's it. If this was like if this was a C sharp chord, for example, well, then this would have a sharp next to it. The chord would be different as well. But, we'd add a sharp, or if it was augmented, we'd have a plus sign, all the things that go along with it. And then we'd have the appropriate figure base. So you're going to go through, just a friendly reminder, nothing means its root position. A 6 means that it's first inversion, and a what is it? A 6 and then a 6/4 means that it's second inversion. Also, remember that we are in the key of C. So any deviations from our key signature must be noted. So we might have a chord that's in root position, such as this one. Let's do this one just because I want to avoid silly mistakes. So, okay, here's this one, right? And so we say, well, this is a D, so we know that's a 2, and it's a D major, so it's a major chord. But the third, normally this is in root position, so normally we wouldn't write anything. But we notice here, hey, this third has a sharp next to it. That's not diatonic, so we need to note that, even though it's in root position. So we hit Control G, and we put down a sharp sign, and that's it. And the sharp by itself references the third, as we talked about. So there you have it, the sharp sign. And that is it. Let's see. Yeah, that's that for this part. So let's go ahead. Let's move over here and talk about one of these guys. Let's pick one. Let's pick this one. This one looks nice. So what do we have? We have an E. So we've got an E, and we see that it's a 1 chord. And we say, okay, if it's a 1 chord, that means this E must be referencing, or since we're moving in the key of C major, so remember, we always got to be thinking about what key are we in here. So we say, well, this is a C major chord with an E in the bass, which means that this must be a first inversion chord. Well, which makes sense because there's a 6, so that means that it's first inversion. I could have just given you, oh, I guess I really couldn't give you just the 6. You have to have the 1 to know that it's a C chord. So anyways, 1, C's in the bass, which means that this E is our bass note, which means that above this note, we should have a G and another C. And that is a possible chord. We could also have, like, let's say we could do something like this, right? We could have the G up here. We could have another C up here, like, and then another E. It doesn't matter. As long as it's first inversion, i.e. E is in the bass, and it's 1 chord, we are good. Bless my soul. So it's that easy, guys. So just go ahead, go through it, do it. If you come across problems, there is the answer sheet included, of course, with this exercise. Should be a pretty easy piece of cake if you've memorized these things and you've done all the previous exercises. And I do encourage you also to put the chord symbols above, just a good habit to get into moving forward. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Subscribe and have a blessed day.